Look, it's 2025, and if you're a listing agent and you're not thinking several moves ahead, you are already behind. Hey, it's Mark here with the Hiller Group, brokered by eXp Realty. My team and I have you covered here along the beautiful Florida Panhandle from Pensacola all the way through Panama City, where our team has been fortunate enough to serve over 1,350 families in the past 10 years alone. And if there's anything that we've learned along the way, winning in negotiations is about controlling the narrative, managing emotions, and presenting options, not just bumping the price. So let's talk about how smart, strategic agents are countering offers intentionally in this market and how you can start doing the same thing. First up, you need to know what the seller wants. Before you even accept showings, you should know what your seller's real motivators are. So this starts with asking better questions like, if we got you $10K less but closed in 2 weeks, would that be a win for you? Or are you more nervous about selling low or sitting on the market too long? Or do you care more about the bottom line or flexibility with your move out? Most agents skip all of those important questions because the offer you counter will only be strong if it aligns with actual priorities of the seller. Timeline, net proceeds, emotional needs, relocation plans, or risk tolerance. Step 2, use local 2025 data to frame your reality, not stuff that happened a couple years ago. You need to get your sellers living in the now. Buyers are more cautious and picky than ever. Days on market are going up and negotiations are tighter than we've seen in the past several years. So here's what we're seeing in Q2 of 2025. The Niceville median sale price is $470,591, down 2.1% year over year. In zip code 32578, the average days on market is 64 plus, up from 48 days just a year ago. The median list to sale price ratio is 96.2%. Price reductions in Okaloosa and Walton counties, 18% of the listings had a price cut before going under contract. Seller concessions are up 47%. What this means is 40% of the deals now involve concessions. This is a jump from 27% prior to the pandemic. So why does this all matter? It's not just about setting the price, it's about supporting it with real data. The smart agents walk into counter conversations with this ammunition. Here are some smart counteroffer tools. Offer a 2-1 rate buy down as a seller incentive. It's often cheaper than a price cut and more valuable to the buyers. Offer post-close occupancy for sellers who need to stay longer, often a win for both sides. Covering specific closing costs like title fees, transfer taxes, or even a home warranty can keep the buyer happy without destroying the seller's bottom line. If it's a vacation area, including premium furniture or outdoor furniture packages can close the gap in tough negotiations. Maybe you're gonna have your seller pay the HOA for a whole year in advance. Think outside the box on what you can do to get deals done in this new market that we're in. And here's a pro tip. Always calculate the net impact of these incentives. Sometimes it's a $5,000 closing cost credit is less than a $3,000 price reduction on a 30-year mortgage. You have to understand the numbers inside and out in order to make it a win-win for both parties. Step 4, you want to protect your seller and make the offer stronger for the buyer. So go ahead and put these clauses into your negotiation strategy. Maybe it's an appraisal gap. These are going to be even more essential in a softening market, which protects against low appraisals and derailing any deal that's going on. Your repair limits. Keep the inspection negotiations from becoming a nightmare. Combine all 3 categories into one and ask for X amount based on the list price. We typically write them in for about 0.5% to 1% of the sale price. Don't let this default to what is there, right? We know that those categories are set way too high, especially if the home appears to be in good condition and it doesn't have a lot of deferred maintenance. Earnest money deposits. Enforce quick deposits to keep the buyer invested early. Don't drag this thing out where they can lose interest in the property. Another thing to be wary of is as-is contracts. Buyers can walk away at any time during that inspection period. We like to see a contract that actually has the buyer getting some repairs from the seller, but that means they have some skin in the game, right? Keeps them from being able to just walk away because a great new house just hit the market. Step 5, communicate with purpose. This is where most agents drop the ball. You must communicate early, often, and strategically with the buyer's agent. Even if they're newer or less experienced, which many are, you need to take the lead. You need to help them get their client across the finish line as well as your seller. Share your seller preferences early on. What's important, what's off limits, and what's going to make the deal go through. Follow up on vague offers. Ask what's driving the buyer's decision making. Help them sell the deal to their buyers. Explain your counteroffer and how the buyer is going to win. Don't assume they know how to sell it to their client. Most agents have not been in this type of environment in real estate because they just got in it the last few years. So you need to help these newer agents when they're trying to get a deal across the finish line. Remember, you're not countering an offer, you're influencing a decision maker. Make it easy for them to say yes. Try not to negotiate on 50 different things. Keep it simple. Simple solves the complex. Step 6, coach your seller through the emotions with facts. Your seller may love the home, but the market doesn't care about emotional value. They only care about real value. Your job is to show them the real comps weekly. What's been sold in the past week, for what price, and the days on market. What's gone pending, as well as the new inventory that's hit the market that is now their competition. Track showing feedback and buyer behavior. Often in this market, you may need to do what's called a reverse offer. If you've got a buyer who comes and looks at a house multiple times, but you haven't seen an offer, maybe they're a little bit leery. Maybe their agent's new and can't kind of push them over the line to write that offer. You may need to offer them a reverse offer in order to get the conversation started. Think outside the box here. You need to walk them through each counter with clear if-then outcomes. Here's a few scripts that you can use. If we hold firm, it might sit for a few weeks. Are you okay with the holding costs during that time? Or if we accept this offer and give $5,000 in closing costs, we can close next month, which helps you get settled into your new home in Kansas by your 50th birthday. I know how important that was for you. Remember this, first offers are still statistically the best offer. 68% of the time in our MLS right now, the first offer is the best offer. Waiting rarely improves the outcome. Make sure sellers know this, especially in a stagnant or slightly declining market. Maybe 3 months from now, you're going to have even less buyers who would be willing to pay even less for the property. We just recently had this happen when the seller said, "Hey Mark, we should have taken that first offer." I didn't want to say it, but yep, you should have. Here's the final truth. Not every agent on the other side is savvy. You need to be the pro. Some agents don't know how to structure a clean deal, and that's okay. It's your job to help guide them through it. Be respectful, be confident, frame your counter as a win-win, because that's really what has to feel like is happening for both sides in order to get to the finish line. Offer context if the offer is weak. Hey, here's the offer from my seller. I know it may not be exactly what you guys were looking for, but please try to keep it alive and let's see if we can get to a happy medium between the two parties. By helping them succeed, you're going to help your seller succeed. The best counteroffers don't just change numbers, they solve problems. If you can think like a strategist, communicate like a coach, and negotiate like a closer, you are going to win for yourself as well as your sellers in this 2025 market. Hope you found this video helpful. Hit the like and subscribe button down below, and we'll see you on the next one.